guys, and welcome to my channel, or if you're already subscribed, welcome back and thank you for watching. Today I'm gonna be doing a foundation review, and the foundation of my choice is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear foundation. This is a full coverage foundation that comes in a 30ml bottle with a pump, and it contains SPF 15, so it is meant to be a long wearing foundation. So Lancome claims that you do not need to retouch it. It is full coverage, so I would be very much disappointed if you had to actually retouch it, because when it comes to full coverage foundations, that is really not that easy. I have read some of the reviews, and it seems that the average star rating is 4 out of 5 stars, which is a decent rating, I guess. Most of the people love this foundation, but the few people who actually gave it 1 or 2 stars, I don't think that the reviews were very consistent. So it seemed like pretty much everyone complained about something a little different, so I can't really pinpoint what could go wrong with this foundation. It is a full coverage foundation, so obviously I am expecting to encounter some problems. I think it might cake up, it might become patchy with time, because I do have combination skin. Nevertheless, I think it's definitely worth trying this foundation, especially since they recently expanded their shade range, so they now offer 40 shades in this foundation, which is, I think, quite good for a foundation, especially full coverage one. For comparison, Estee Lauder Camouflage Double Wear foundation, I think they have only 7 shades, and I think they actually reduced the number of shades they were offering. So it's not actually that common to have a full coverage foundation that could cater to a complete full range of skin shades. Obviously, I have also read that some people couldn't find the shade. It happens with all foundations, but I guess 40 shades is pretty decent. I have already prepped my skin. I have applied serum, face cream, under eye serum, under eye cream, and I'm ready for the foundation. As you can see, I have a full range of problems on my face. I have hyperpigmentation here and some acne spots as well. I have some active acne and some acne scars on my face, like literally all over my face, and I have an oily and red nose, and also I have some dark spots around my mouth. So yay! I'm probably the perfect person to test this foundation, because whatever problem that you have with your skin, I probably have it too. The shade that I'm using is Beige Porcelain, number 010. As in a number of my previous videos, I will be using a brush on one side of my face and a beauty sponge on the other for comparison. Now, from my experience with full coverage foundations, I'd say that I always preferred brush, because some of the full coverage foundations, they are quite difficult to blend. So the beauty blender or the sponge wouldn't always handle the texture of the foundation, but we will see how it goes with this one. Okay, I'd say that it is quite liquidy. The drop is not really moving, but it seems quite light for full coverage. I mean, that's just the first impression. Let's see how it goes onto the skin. Very interesting. Seems to me that it might be a little bit too light. This bright lighting is killing me. I can't actually see myself very well. Kind of feels nice. I don't know, it's got some cooling effect, I think. So I'm just gonna be applying it with a sponge. It smells nice as well. Just gonna grab a mirror. The first impression is that the color is absolutely fine for my skin tone. It matches my neck perfectly. Second, it applied with no time, which I am surprised with, especially since I was actually using a sponge, not a brush, and it was really easy to apply. It distributed really evenly. In terms of coverage, I'd say that probably, I don't know, I don't think the coverage is that great. It definitely helped in terms of my acne scars and hyperpigmentation, and even on my nose, but it's not something that amazed me, surprisingly. I will see how I get on with the brush then. Maybe I will just apply a little bit more on the other side and see how I get on there. I definitely put more on the other side of my face. I wouldn't normally put this much on a day-to-day basis, so I'm just really making sure that I test this foundation properly and that if it doesn't work out, it's not from a lack of trying. The brush that I'm using is this kabuki, retractable kabuki brush from Real Techniques. It feels really nice on the face. It smells good. Oh wow. It's not actually that easy to blend with a brush, surprisingly. Okay. And we're done. I'm surprised to say this, but I think that I definitely preferred applied with a beauty sponge, not with a brush. It was quite streaky with the brush, and also I applied more on this side of my face and I don't actually like it. It looks a little bit heavy. It kind of reminds me of Double Wear by Estee Lauder, and that is definitely not my favorite foundation. Obviously, I will give it a go. I will let it stay on my face for a day. You know, it might be just the lighting. I will definitely give you my final thoughts later today, and I'll obviously apply the rest of my makeup as I normally would, so at least I know how it actually compares to my regular foundations. So far, I'm not really that impressed by it. I don't know, I hoped for more. It looks alright, just nothing really special. So anyway, guys, I will see you in, I think, about 8 hours because it's noon now, so obviously I don't really want to stay up till like 10 or 11, so I'm definitely not going to be testing it for 24 hours. But if it lasts for the next 8 to 10 hours, I'll be pretty happy with it. It's just, I'm not really sure how I feel about it, but anyway, let's give it a chance and I will see you in the next 8 or 8-ish hours. See you in a bit. And we're back. So it has been over 8 hours since I applied this foundation. Initially, I wasn't very impressed. I felt it was quite heavy. It did look like I had foundation on my face. The side where I used the sponge looked a little bit better. It really reminded me of Double Wear by Estee Lauder, and I'm not a huge fan of that foundation. Not that I don't like it completely, but it's just not my kind of foundation. But then the moment I shut down the camera and looked at myself in the mirror in the natural daylight, I was amazed. I looked really good. My skin looked really good. The skin tone was even, and the pores, actually the pores were less visible. That is almost never the case with any foundation, and especially high coverage foundation, which tends to gather in the pores. But with this one, no, actually it covered the pores, and I don't know how I did it, but my skin looked really good. I shot another video afterwards, after I shot the first part of this video, and I was looking at myself in the viewfinder. I was like, is there a problem with my lens? Because I look a little bit blurry, like my skin looks airbrushed. And I was like, let me wipe it off. And no, it wasn't the lens, it was the foundation. So you can obviously see that I have the hyperpigmentation on my forehead, I have the large pores and oiliness in my T-zone, I have redness around my nose. Those problems have not vanished straight away, but I can say that the foundation definitely covered the redness on my nose really well. Over a period of few hours, I could definitely see that my skin became very oily in this area, even more oily than normally, but that's just how my skin is in this area, so I wouldn't blame a foundation for not being able to block the oil. Honestly, so far I am pretty happy. I don't know what it did to my skin. My skin just looked so even, and I did use concealer on my spots, on my acne scars. Not very much, but I did. My skin looked so good. I was so surprised. Maybe when I'm revisiting the footage from this morning, I'll be kind of like, what was I talking about? But I will let you know. I will continue using this foundation for a while, and I want to test it in different environments on different days, because today it was a really relaxing day for me. I am pretty tired now, but it is late by my standards, so I am getting ready to go to take shower and go to bed. So yes guys, I will see you in a while, and then I will tell you how I feel about it. So I will see you in a while. while. Initially, I was going to test this foundation for a couple of weeks and then give you my thoughts on it, but in fact I have now been testing it for almost a month. Not every single day, but on pretty much all days when I wore makeup, I would use this foundation. And here are my thoughts. I think that all of the foundations that I have tested so far, this one has the best staying power. There have been days when I would leave at literally 7:30 in the morning and I would be back at 7 in the evening, and this foundation was still there. And my face would look really good. It wasn't perfect, but it would look really good. Even the oily parts of my face weren't all that oily comparing to the way they look when I'm using other foundations. Second, it evened out my skin tone really well. It's not a full coverage foundation. It is a medium coverage foundation, but it's buildable. I have tried on, I think, one occasion applying 2 layers of this foundation and it worked out absolutely fine. And on some days I would just add a little bit extra foundation in those areas where I have hyperpigmentation or I have acne scars, and that would cover these as well. Not completely, but pretty well. It looks really, really natural. So throughout the day I could barely see that I had foundation. Obviously I knew I had foundation, but looking in the mirror I just thought I had really good skin. I even caught myself thinking, wow, my skin has improved so much. My skin hasn't improved. It's this foundation. On top of this, it doesn't cling to dry patches, it doesn't cake up, and it doesn't gather in fine lines. Not to the same extent that most other foundations I have used did. So overall, this is one of the best foundations that I have used ever. It might actually at this point be the best foundation that I have found for work. So when I need something to stay on my face throughout the day. This foundation is, in my opinion, pretty much flawless. The color range is amazing, and in fact the color that I had was so good for my skin tone that when I just put some dots on my face of the foundation so that then I can just blend it out, I was like, not sure whether I had anything on my face. I was like, did I put any foundation on my face? Because it matched my skin tone so well. Now in terms of brush or sponge, I would say that I think that the foundation looked a little bit better when applied with a sponge, but that's my personal opinion. Obviously it really depends on what you prefer and how you feel about either one of the tools, and obviously depends on your skin as well. So to sum up, this foundation is really good. It is really, really good. Honestly, at this point I am tempted to say that this is the best foundation I have actually tried. In terms of longevity, stays on almost flawlessly throughout the day. That doesn't happen with any foundation that I have tried. Then it doesn't gather in fine lines, in pores. I have really large pores, especially on my nose, and I didn't see the product gathering in my pores or lines. It looks super natural. It has medium coverage, so that meant that I needed concealer to cover my spots primarily and my hyperpigmentation, but that's fine. I can live with that. Also, it worked really well with my other products, and pretty much all of the other products that I used were just drugstore. So they were definitely not high-end, nothing special, nothing amazing, nothing unique. So it did work really well with those products as well. Obviously, we are not the same. We have different expectations and different opinions, but if you do need a medium coverage foundation that will stay on your face throughout the day, regardless of your skin type, my skin is combination skin, so I have some dry patches and I also have some oily patches, especially on my nose. This foundation stays put. It stays really nicely. It evens out skin really well. Honestly, that's a winner to me. So I do hope, guys, that gave you some kind of idea of what to expect from this foundation, and thank you very much for watching. If you did like the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and obviously I will be posting more reviews, but because now I'm testing all of the products for a longer period of time than before, those reviews will not be uploaded on my channel as often as they once were, but they will hopefully be more thorough and more helpful. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.